The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Sicilian Corner, winner of the Italian Heritage Media Award, with your hosts, Tom Zappola and Mike Lamazzo.
Mikey boy, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Tom Zappola, my big brother.
That's me.
Mikey Lamazzo, broadcasting from the Studio 21 Podcast
This
Café.
is a sweet gig here.
I love it.
Yeah, this is nice.
Welcome
I
to the
like it.
Sicilian Corner. We got a pretty good show today. We're going to talk about a few different things. I was on assignment last week, but in reality, I wasn't on assignment. We're going to talk about that. And then Father Mikey emailed me. Father Mikey's coming in later on.
I left him in the pool. He's coming in? I don't think so. I don't think he'll leave the pool.
He's coming in. And then we're going to talk about some other stuff. You wanted to talk a little bit about some of the old TV shows that they all kind of, everybody's dead now that watched them. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but there's TV in heaven.
Well, that could be.
And it's wireless.
Right.
So they can catch a show.
See, my idea of an old TV show is Seinfeld. Is that yours?
No.
No.
You got to remember, I was born in 1945.
So yours is like Betty White, 1956, when the Betty White show.
1956?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like midterm. That's like midterm. No, I'm talking about some of the folks that are listening to us and watching the show.
All three of you in the nursing home that have watched the shows that he's going to be talking about, pretty much?
You know something? Why do you make fun of older people?
I'm not making fun of older
people.
people. I'm making fun of the fact that you're talking about...
In China, the old people they're revered.
You were going to say
They
reserved.
Yeah, almost.
And I was going to say, no, they're preserved. Right?
David, we don't need any of that from you, all right? Look at theatrics.
Hey, and by the way, I wanted to, you want to touch upon old...
I want to talk about TV when it first came out.
Perfect.
Picture watching it on a 7-inch TV.
We're going to talk... that'll be good. That'll be good.
Okay.
And I want to talk about some of the... We had a nostalgic food trip, Ellen and I, a couple of days ago. So I want to talk about Old Salisbury Beach also.
And I had an awful, awful trip to Rhode Island. And if we have time, we'll yak about it. And
all right.
Twin Rivers. Hey, listen. So you went through kind of a tough bout about this, and I didn't even know about it.
Well, I wasn't last week. Brother Al
did a great job.
He did a great job. I watched the show. He did. Al did a nice job.
Oh yeah. He did.
I told him he needs to change the color of those hats, though. That red is too bright. A nice navy blue hat.
Why wear a hat anyway? It's going to be 94 degrees. Why would anybody wear a hat?
Well, that was a marketing thing because it said Yumi and Sicily.
Well, Al and marketing?
You
Come
kidding?
on, go figure.
Anyway, I was not on assignment last week.
What happened?
For those of you, I had Omicron. I had COVID. Now, I have been poo-pooing COVID since day one. And I don't mean poo-pooing it, but just...
Not making a big deal out of it.
Not making a big deal out of it. Ellen and I were always, as you know, we were very vigilant from day one about the precautions. Remember the first year we went to Florida?
Yep.
I mean, we didn't even associate with our friends.
You didn't go anywhere.
Nowhere. And,
and they appreciated it.
They did. And so we got our shots, and we got our boosters. We got our 2 shots, Moderna, and the booster. Well...
You've had 2 boosters or one?
One booster.
One booster.
But the last booster shot we had, and this is the point I'm trying to make to our audience. The last booster shot we had was in November. Now we were scheduled to have a booster shot in April, but I blew it off.
Why?
Because...
I mean, with your condition.
Right, because I have RA. The reason I blew it off is because I read some literature that said, something, with all due respect, this Omicron is very catchy. However, there's another 2 variants coming out, the B4 and 5, in the fall, and they're working on,
Unbelievable.
I know that, Pfizer and Moderna are working on a new vaccine that's going to really be effective against this. So I said, tell them, let's blow off and wait until November. So now we fast forward to Tom's birthday party. right?
Yep.
Everybody's there. Everybody's having a blast.
Party people.
Yeah. There's one person that we know of that had COVID, but she was diagnosed. She didn't know she had COVID because she caught it from someone in her little classroom 3 days prior, and then they called them the next day. They said, hey, and then they tested her and she had COVID. And that's my little 4-year-old granddaughter. So I think that she may have been ground zero, and I'll tell you at the exact moment that I think I got infected. They're singing happy birthday to me, right? And the cake is set up with all the candles. And she says, Nanu,
Can I blow them up?
can I blow out the candles with you? I said, absolutely. So she's here, I'm here, we blow out the candles, and she blows right into my face.
Typhoid Mary. That's what it amounts to.
3 days later,
You started.
I'm feeling a little scratchy throat, a little congestion, start sneezing. Wake up the next day. I said to Ellen, I think I better test. Bing, 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 bing. Hit the jackpot.
You know, Barbara,
Ellen got it too.
Barbara asked me if you were sick with it, and I told her exactly what I knew at the time. You know, you weren't. You know.
Well, it is, again, for those people that are out there, and I know a lot of people have had it, this Omicron variant certainly is not generation 1 or even generation 2, the Delta variant. I want to qualify that. It is, I'm just using me and I'm using my wife as an example. It's like having a moderate to severe cold.
Okay.
Nothing in your chest.
No fever.
No fever. Slight cough. Stuffy nose.
Inconvenience.
Sneezing. You know when you run through a cold. You know, you have those 3 days of you feel like crap, and all of a sudden you start coughing up all the loose crap. You know,
I feel like crap when I come in here every morning,
why's that?
sitting next to you.
That hurts me.
Tuesdays, for some reason, I really don't do well.
The biggest thing was the fatigue. The fatigue. I took last Saturday, a week ago Saturday, I took 4 naps. 4 naps.
Why get up?
It was like unbelievable. But we managed, you know, we have a nice piece of property, as you know. So Ellen and I, you know, we didn't mask because we both had it. And we worked out in the yard. And, it, you know, and then finally, about 7, 8 days ago, I tested negative. And doctor said, you're fine. Because it was only supposed to be 5 days. And, you know, anyway.
Hey, those tomato plants that Peter...
I want to talk about those.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. But here's the point, folks. Point is this. My doctor made a point, my 2 doctors made a point of telling me that had I not had my 2 shots and been boosted, I would have had a much rougher go of it. So listen, I know a lot of people are opposed to getting boosted and vaxxed, and that's a choice that everybody makes. We all make choices in life. That's up to you. But from my perspective, using me and my wife as an example, I highly recommend that you get vaxxed and boosted.
Good advice.
As a matter of fact, you know, we're going to Atlantic City next week.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Well,
huh?
no, because now the new rules say that you can get your booster shot 2 weeks after you have had the virus. They've moved it because your antibodies are only lasting so long with this Omicron.
Huh.
So Ellen and I are getting our booster shot this coming Saturday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're
so
getting
you'll be covered when you go.
So I have double coverage. I have the coverage of the antibodies, hopefully, knock on wood, that from the virus plus the booster.
I heard an echo. You
That
got
was me.
anything in there?
No, that
hey,
was-
listen,
Yo.
you're going down to it. Are you in Atlantic City? Did I understand that correctly?
We are.
Have you been in Atlantic City
have.
lately? Oh, really?
It's a dump.
How many you have?
It's a dump.
Oh, it's not really a dump. It's not a dump.
It's pretty much a dump, Mike.
No.
Mike, when was the last time you were there, honestly?
Probably 6 years ago.
It's amazing how many of these old kind of hotels, casinos are really run down now.
Tom, they're being cannibalized. There's too many of them.
I agree.
New York opened up casinos. You got Connecticut, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania opened up casinos. So, you know something? At one time, they were the only show in town.
Absolutely.
So they're getting beat up a little bit.
But you know something else, Mikey? If you go outside of that that perimeter. You're
used
taking your life in your hands.
No.
Oh, I'm telling you.
They built a beautiful shopping center now. They made the streets. They treated it. It's absolutely beautiful. You go behind where Caesars is.
Yeah.
There's 114 stores. It's
We're staying at the Showboat. That's where they put us up. They don't even have a casino there anymore.
I know.
Just a hotel.
I love the Showboat. It was nice. It was small. Some of you folks I know have been there. I just loved it. That to me was one of my favorite places on the boardwalk.
Now, Chrissy and David, you've played Monopoly.
Yes, I hate that game.
Okay, but that's okay.
Do you really?
But the streets,
Yeah, I despise it.
The streets of Atlantic City, the Monopoly streets are named after the streets in Atlantic City.
Really?
I think you knew that,
Yeah.
right? But
I didn't.
here's something that's very interesting. On the Monopoly board, other than Boardwalk, what's the next most valuable piece of property? Park Place.
Oh,
Is it Park Place?
Right.
or Mayfair? No.
No, Park
don't
Place.
know.
Right?
Sure.
It's a slum.
Is it really?
It's a slum. Now, you go to the other side, and you go to Mediterranean Avenue or Ventnor, which is the little purple cheap ones, much nicer than Marvin Gardens and all those other places.
How was the boardwalk? The boardwalk always looks nice. right?
Boardwalk is not bad.
Boardwalk,
It's
they
nice.
keep it immaculate.
It's nice.
There's-
Boardwalk is fun.
There's security.
It's like old time. It's like old time
1950s.
50s, Salisbury Beach, Coney Island, but it's really kept up nice.
That's where saltwater taffy was actually invented. The ocean came up and flooded this guy's store.
I didn't know that.
And hit his inventory, and they were closed for like 3 weeks or so. When he opened it up, he went and he grabbed a piece of the taffy, and it was like he loved it. And saltwater taffy.
Did not know this.
So all the streets there are like named after Monopoly.
Ventnor, Marvin Gardens, Tennessee Avenue, New York Avenue. They're all the streets that are on the Monopoly board.
They got a lot of free parking there.
They have free parking.
They do?
It's called free
You
parking.
get money when you go there?
No, you don't.
See, I call bullshit.
They have no go either.
But
No
and
go?
by the way, free
I'm
parking.
like, where do you go to get $200?
Well, you know something. That whole thing. If you pay attention to the real rules,
Yeah.
free parking is not supposed to have money in it. Free parking is just a free parking area where you know you're not going to get nailed by anything. So
And then they put the free parking in the cheap neighborhoods, and that's why you get
Thank
money
you.
when you go there, because they break into your car while they're in the free. I
Very
see.
good
Cindy,
I
back
see.
in the 80s, early 90s, Atlantic City, you go two streets beyond it, going back, it was
it was like a
you
war
took
zone.
your life in
it
your
was
own.
a war zone. But Mikey,
so
part of
they came in
but parts of it is still like that.
and they bulldozed all of those old houses and apartments down, and they came in and they built newer.
But it still has
It's for low-income housing.
It still has a pretty high murder rate. Just letting you know that.
Well, you know,
I want to hear this one.
sometimes they have a few problems.
They do. It's called like a shooting gallery.
Well, Detroit is worse.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
good
mean,
point.
we don't-
Detroit is also 10 times the size.
But anyway, it's because so many of these casinos were built in the heyday when they were one show in town.
I agree.
And you know something? It was great to go see all the shows. And
It was fantastic. By the way, you asked me about the tomatoes.
yeah.
We're blown
Why
away.
don't you tell people?
Our good friend Roger,
it was Roger to give them to you.
right,
That's
he
right.
sent us.
It was the year before Peter came
Yeah,
up.
Roger sent us 7 or 8.
No, Mike went and picked them up.
Mike
for you.
picked them up.
Thank you so much.
And I thank you. You should see these plants. Number one, you know how big they are?
They're probably about 18 ounces apiece.
What does that mean? I'm talking about the
Big
height.
tomato. I don't care about the height. I want the fruit.
There must be, we started picking them. There must be, between the 7 plants, 300 to 400 tomatoes.
The type he gave you, were they the
He gave me a
small
whole
ones? Oh, he gave
bunch
you-
of different ones.
You
You
should.
know how big the plants are?
Probably-
6 feet high.
Yeah.
They're almost 6 feet high.
So you get a lot of sun, right?
Unbelievable. And we water them every day, even though there's a ban. Except you can water your vegetables. My lawn looks like a desert. There's a
Yeah,
water ban. in town.
mine too.
It's ridiculous.
Mine too. We were on well water, so hey, I just wanted to say something. Peter Scipoletti, He's doing much, much, much better, and he's actually got his cast off now, and he's
Peter's
walking
a good
around.
man, and Roger's a great. Roger again.
The
Thank you
two of
so
those
much.
guys
Good
hit it off like two peas in a pod because of this show.
Very good guys. Nice.
I was up at Roger's the other day. Dropped in. He gave me another book to read, and I'm enjoying it. And it's nice.
Hold on, big guy. Let's take a step back. You're telling me that you're on your second book? You haven't read a goddamn book. You've read one book. Shh. Okay, that's right. Father Mikey's coming in. You've read one book in the last 10 years, and now you're telling me you're on your second book in a month? I'm crying shenanigans.
Honest Engine.
What are you reading now?
It's a book that was written by a reporter for Channel 5, Chronicle. He writes for Chronicle. And
do you know his name?
He put this, huh?
Do you know his name?
His name? Ted Rosen, something
Ted Rosenstein.
Your ass is Ted Rosenstein.
Ted Rosenberg.
Yeah, that too.
Ted Rothstein.
That's his cousin. That's his cousin.
Go ahead, finish.
But anyway, it's interesting. He really went into, from day one, the feud in the DeMoulas family.
Oh, so
and
this is his home for you.
Well, I mean, he nailed it. I mean, he really did. He did his homework here, because there were a lot of things that took place that really weren't, the public really didn't know about. And anyway, I'm enjoying that. And another thing I learned, in the North End, the smallest house width-wise.
I've seen pictures of it.
I've never seen it, the house.
Oh, yes, you have. You've walked by it 1,000,000 times.
I bet I have.
You have walked by.
I couldn't believe it. It was like news to me.
But there's a family feud going on about that house.
The two brothers.
Exactly.
The father left the land.
You've walked by that house 1,000,000 times.
Honest to God.
1,000,000 times.
But I love the concept. Folks, there were two brothers.
What's the width, Mikey?
8 foot something.
Yeah, okay.
8 foot, but it's 3-4 stories high.
Right.
But Jesus, Mary and Joseph, you get some of these basketball players, if they laid on the floor, they would just barely. What's that guy's name? Malmuko Bowl? What's his name?
Manute, he's dead.
Bowl.
Who's
the guy Bowl?
Manute Bowl. He's passed away. So I think that's very disrespectful.
Well, he was like 7 foot.
Yeah, he was about 7'4".
Well, the width is like 8. I mean, it's a. But anyway, so the two brothers inherited the land. The younger brother's in the service. The older brother decides to build this 4-story high building because they went up.
Right.
The brother comes home from the service, the younger brother. He's got this little small dinky piece of land. How he ever got zoning to put up a house, I don't know what that must have cost him, because there must have been a lot of shenanigans going on. But he put up a house.
He did.
Because that was his land.
He did.
And he blocked the view of the older brother so he couldn't see the water. He couldn't see the harbor. I think that is awesome. I love stuff. I love stuff.
That's a tourist attraction. People taking pictures of that thing all the time.
Where the hell have I been? How many times have I go to the North End?
I don't know. I can't.
We need to take a break, okay? So
all right,
when we come back.
I want to talk. Oh, Father Mikey's going to join us after the break, and then I want to talk about this movie stuff.
I'll be shocked if he shows. He was floating around on that. He's got his own special float. It's like a swan. And he sits there and he flows around the pool.
Was this at the hotel?
No, at my house.
He's at your house?
Yeah, he's been there for the last 3 days.
You know, you're freaking killing me. All right, we're going to take a break. Father Mikey said that he was coming in.
I don't charge you much.
I'm sure you don't. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
Looking for that something special? All of us here at the Sicilian Corner suggest trying Ristorante Uno, located at 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. For the most exquisite dining experience in an intimate setting that serves authentic regional Italian cuisine and features old country service. Try Ristorante Uno. Did we mention their award-winning wine cellar? Ristorante Uno, 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. Call 617-573-9406 for reservations. That's 617-573-9406. Tell them the boys from the Sicilian Corner sent you.
Today, Lawrence General Hospital has affiliations with leading Boston academic medical centers. Top specialists from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and Floating Hospital for Children at Tufts Medical Center work with our local doctors to bring world-class care close to home. Today, amazing partnerships are happening at Lawrence General Hospital. To learn more, visit lawrencegeneral.org/today.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine each pleased to announce the opening of their American College of Radiology accredited MRI unit at their location at 16 Pelham Road in Salem, New Hampshire. So now, in addition to receiving the best orthopedic care in the Merrimack Valley, as well as physical and occupational therapy at Optima Sports Therapy and Rehab, you can also have your MRI, all in one convenient location. The doctors and staff of Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine have been dedicated to providing outstanding medical care to the Merrimack Valley in southern New Hampshire since 1984. Located on Route 97, just off Exit 2 from Route 93 North, on the second floor of the Workout Club of Salem. You deserve the best care, and that's exactly what you'll get from the board-certified surgeons at Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine. Please call 603-898-2244 to schedule an appointment.
A loyal sponsor for the Sicilian Corner is Hilton Oil Company. Hilton Oil has been located right across from the South Lawrence Common since 1932 at 101 South Union Street. Hilton Oil Company specializes in 24-hour burner service, oil deliveries, including automatic deliveries serving all the Merrimack Valley area, plus portions of southern New Hampshire. If you want your car fixed right the first time, bring it to Hilton's state-of-the-art service station. Remember, Hilton's is also a Mass State Inspection Station. Hilton Oil Company, 101 South Union Street in Lawrence. Call 978-687-9793.
This is Cindy
and Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Dracut, Massachusetts,
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
We are back, and that music, says it all.
First of all, good morning. No, thank you.
Protein bar?
Also, is it laced with anything?
No.
Are you sure?
Protein.
Last time you gave Lucille something, she was.
I want to talk about.
Poor thing.
No, we'll talk about.
You completely screwed her up.
The reason I was asking if you wanted a piece of my protein bar because it goes with part of the ask Father Mikey question of the day.
So it was a tie-in.
It is.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to join you.
How are you, Father Mikey?
Things are good. Things are good.
Father Mikey, I noticed you don't wear a watch. Why is that?
I do own a couple of watches.
For investment purposes?
Yeah, exactly.
Really? I mean, so they're not like Timexes.
Well, you know what happens? I had a Rolex, a nice one. The president.
You had the Rolex president. Now
what happened?
Wait a minute.
You
who cries?
Let me finish.
Poverty. You who takes an oath of poverty.
This is my problem.
Okay, I want to hear this one.
So I'm doing a service, and I raised my hand, and the watch showed. You know how many people picked up on it? It embarrassed me. I was embarrassed.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. It was a gift.
Oh, that's what it was, a gift.
How do I know the questions you're going to ask?
May I ask who gifted it to you?
Do you ever hear of the little old lady from Pasadena?
I did, yes.
Yeah. She was very kind.
Another one you were playing bumper cars with.
Bumper cars?
Yeah.
What a bumper cars.
Well, we won't get into that, Father Mikey.
Yeah. So anyway, I banged into Mike. He was running to the Bacauzo. Did he tell you I'm staying at his house?
He did. He says you're staying at his house and you've been using his pool.
He bought me a Swan. It's a blow-up Swan, and it's got containers on the side where you can put 2 drinks in it, like a bottle of water or a beer or a glass of wine.
I mean, Father Mikey, it seems as though you lead a pretty good life.
I've been blessed.
I mean,
and that's why I believe in giving back as much as possible.
I mean, if you break it down to your lifestyle, you have lived in the Vatican. You have had a paid apartment paid for in Rome.
It was Vatican City, to be honest.
Okay,
with you. Yeah.
Paid for. Yeah. You had a suite for well over a year that was paid for in Las Vegas, and now.
But I was there to try to help people that had a gambling habit.
Unlike yourself.
Correct. I mean, some people don't know when to say enough.
So you were there to help people that gambled a little too much.
Caesar's Palace invited me, and as you know, it's a beautiful, beautiful property. And when I saw the suite, I said, no, this is way too much. And they said, we really want you. I said, okay. So I stayed, and of course, we were there for, 14 months? which wasn't
pretty
bad.
Damn good.
But, today it's 109 degrees there.
Yeah, it's pretty hot in here. Just thought I'd throw that out.
It's very hot in here.
You think we can, maybe throw some AC on?
Easy, patient zero. I'm quite comfortable.
Excuse me, Father Mikey, are you hot?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be the lights then.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hey,
well, here's a question. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I heard you were a little bit under the weather.
I'm fine now.
You're doing fine.
Doing much. I'm about 93% back.
Sister Good and Plenty was asking for you.
Thank you. Tell her I was.
And before you go into your question, I just want to say I had a trip last week I was invited to go with, and Mike took me with him, and we went down to Rhode Island.
How was it?
A dump. I was very disappointed.
Obviously, we went to
Twin Rivers.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
All right. The reason I went, because back in the day when I first became ordained, we used to go to Federal Hill in Providence, and we used to go to eat at Jerry Longo's all the time. We'd take the ride down in the afternoon, have a nice bite, and then drive back home. 82 miles for a bite to eat.
Get to the point.
It was crazy. They just opened one up at Twin Rivers. That's what precipitated this trip.
It wasn't any good.
People smoking. It's disgusting. Machines filthy with ash. I had some people smoking cigars. It was awful, awful. Stayed in the room. I had my own room. I don't think it was 180 square feet. It was this one little dinky bar of soap. What if you got 2 people staying in the freaking room? Now, the reception area. Wow. The reception area. 1 person in the reception area. The phone's ringing. She's answering the phone. Somebody's bitching and moaning about something else. No, I can say it.
Okay.
I can say it.
All right. Can we get to the question? Maybe we can.
You know something? I have a whole different respect for the encore, which, by the way, I will be there very shortly.
Sure you will.
Guess with who?
Bill D'Orazio.
Well, he has his own little suite there.
Can
but
we get
not,
to the question?
Not me. Tommy Amin.
Oh, very nice.
Tommy
well,
and
we're going to talk about him later.
Tommy and I are going to get together.
Can we? This is the Ask Father Mikey segment, not the Father Mikey go off on a tangent section. It's called Ask Father Mikey.
I go off on a tangent?
Once in a while. So this is a question that I think I am interested in because I remember talking to you this several years ago. Dear Father Mikey, I read somewhere that you once were the head of the committee in Rome that chooses the Pope. Can you explain the significance of the black smoke that comes out of the chimney as well as the white smoke? Also, I realize that the cardinals are sequestered for long periods of time. What do they eat and where do they sleep and what do they drink? Signed, an interested Jewish fellow.
That's the way he signed it?
Yeah. An interested Jewish fellow.
Okay. What part do you want me to answer first?
The smoke. I mean, you headed up that whole committee, right? You were in charge of the cardinals, the voting.
There were 2 priests that were there among the cardinals. We have little roles to play, okay? My role was to make sure that the cardinals were satisfied, and anything that they wanted, we were able to provide for them, like snacks and stuff like that. So I signed a contract with Trail Mix, and we were able to buy a 50-pound bag of trail mix, and that's what I used to put out in little trays all around. And the guys really, really liked it, really enjoyed it. The smoke, I think everybody knows, of course, this man is of Jewish persuasion, but I appreciate the question. The smoke goes back thousands of years, I mean, basically. And, of course, black smoke means that they haven't come to an agreement. There is no pope yet. Elected. And when the white smoke comes out, it's a time to rejoice. And I mean rejoice, Tom.
I get it. Okay. How do you create the white smoke? You burn somebody? Paper?
It's changed in the last 25 years of what they're using right now. So I don't even know if I should get into that discussion because you know something? It's a good question, but it's a little unfair for me to answer that question right now.
And where did they sleep? They each have their own room?
They walk out. The door is open with 2 Swiss guards, and they have dorm rooms on both sides, and 2 priests stay in each room. And then in the morning, they come back, they have breakfast together, and then they go into the sequestered room. But, you know, we have to go by with the mics to make sure that the room isn't bugged. I mean, there's a lot of technical aspect to this. It's incredible because there are a lot of people that are trying to get the scoop before it's really announced. And, of course, we got everybody in St. Peter's. The place is crowded. It's quite a process.
Is there any shenanigans that go on, like people paying off
There's a lot of politicking. Politics.
For voting, you know, and stuff like this.
Yeah, because they got to get a percentage.
Me.
They have to get a percentage, and you know, there's some deals going on behind the scenes, which shouldn't really.
So it doesn't necessarily go to the most qualified guy. It goes to the guy that gets the most vig, that gives the most vig.
More or less, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's what you can do for me and what I can do for you. I have a deal for you. You have a deal for me, and we ask you to consider voting for me.
Good.
I mean, but it's quite a process. It really is.
Nice seeing you.
Sister Good and Plenty is going to make it sooner or later.
Yeah, we'll get her here. Send her my best. How about a little blessing for the audience before you depart, without knocking this over?
It's indeed a pleasure to be here every other Friday with my friend Tom. And all I can say is it's extremely warm. It's extremely hot and very, very humid. Please.
You know, Father Mikey, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention because I am sweating profusely. And the producers don't seem to be bothered by what you and I are bothered by. Can we do something about that?
Well, getting back to what I was saying, if you happen to have
like a freaking fan or something,
if you happen to have
If
an
only you had fans.
elderly neighbor on your street, please do me a favor.
Holy shit! I'm sorry.
What did you just say?
I'm sorry. I'm
Bad.
sorry. Wow.
Bad.
It's about 100 degrees in here, but that's
seriously,
okay.
elderly people, make sure that they're A-okay, especially ones that live by themselves.
Absolutely.
Check it.
Go away.
You know, the Red Sox pitcher, what's his name, Sale? Somebody gave that poor bugger the Milwaukee. What
The guy's getting $130 million to pitch 4 innings.
He hasn't pitched since 2018. Hey, listen.
All
It's a
right,
pleasure.
bye, Mikey. Take care of yourself. We'll see you.
Take care.
Be good now. Okay, you're going to leave now.
I know.
All right. Let's talk about our good friend Tommy Amin and the wonderful staff at Butcher Boy. David, I don't know if you've done shopping there recently, but I'll tell you what. Ellen and I went, before we got COVID, so we didn't infect anybody, and we bought some strips, some fillets, some Delmonicos. I bought a cowboy steak. Have you ever had a cowboy steak? She bought some porterhouse. Our freezer is full right now to get us through the rest of the summer. Some hot dogs, some chicken, a little of everything. And what we do is we go there, spend a few bucks, and then we put it in the freezer, and it's good for the summer. Hey, Mikey boy, how you doing? You gonna put the head? Did you see?
Sorry, I got tied up.
I can't hear you, Mike.
There were 4 people waiting for the bacalhaos. We only have one stall here.
Did you see him?
I did.
Yeah. He told me he's staying at your house.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, but he demands. You know what he wants? He wants to have Delmonicos, but he wants them like 1.5 inches thick. He wants me to go to the Butcher Boy.
Well, that's where you go. I was just saying.
What are you reading? The Butcher?
Yeah, no, I was just telling our audience that Ellen and I, we did a lot of shopping there. We freeze it. We also bought hamburger, the 5-ounce patties, which are nice. Some of the marinated tips, chicken and steak. We freeze it all. We got enough going for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah,
we got some really classy sponsors.
Absolutely.
We really do.
Absolutely. So check out Butcher Boy on Osgood Street in the Butcher Boy Plaza. By the way, Jackson Lumber and Millwork, the Kitchen Design Center is next door. Jessica, she does all her shopping there. All her shopping.
And that's Jessica is?
My daughter.
There you go.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to talk about some of these old-time crap shows that Mike used to watch.
Not crap.
I'm sorry. I lost it. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
This is David from the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and we can never agree. Tom likes the casual family-style dining with great Italian cuisine, Capri Seaside Italian Grill. Me, I love the elegant romantic vibe, Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu with prices that'll make it the place you want to visit every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf and the rhythms of an even cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites, and the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Music Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality is the host of all these great places, and they treat everyone like they're Mike Lamazzo. And best of all, we never have to choose. Park the car once and all of this fun is right at your fingertips. We can have it all in the heart of Salisbury Beach. Find out about all the ways you can have a great night at Salisbury Beach at NorthshorePavilion.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.beefcomp.com. www.haverhillbeef.com.
Hi, this is Mike, and I would like to tell you about the Deborah Care Law Offices, a firm that is focused on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and elder law issues. You will feel comfortable discussing important issues concerning both you and your loved ones, as well as having the information you need to make an informed decision about your family's future. How do I know? Because I'm a client of Dan Deborah Care. If you want to have peace of mind knowing that your loved ones are protected, call Deborah Care Law Offices today. In Massachusetts, 978-686-4645. In New Hampshire, 603-894-4141.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Dracut, Massachusetts.
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
Okay, we are back, and you are listening to the Sicilian Corner from the Studio 21 Podcast Café. You can, by the way, you can listen to us on Podbean, Alexa, watch us on Facebook Live, YouTube, Channel 4, Channel 7, WCVB, all those
Chronicle.
Absolutely, all those stations, right? Playboy Channel.
The lights must raise about the temperature.
Yeah, we just figured out, why are you hanging out our dirty? We just figured it out, you and I, what we're going to do. We're going to have two naked women with fans every week fanning us.
Save that for Father Mikey's segment.
Right? Yeah. David, that work?
Who writes, Tommy, where are you getting those the questions? They're writing to Chrissy? They're writing to the studio?
They send them to Chrissy or David, and they forward them to me. I don't know who this...
there was no name. I like when they have
an interested Jewish fellow is how he signed it. I don't know. I have no idea.
So if any of you out there listening would like to ask Father Mikey a question, go on to our Facebook page and go to the chat section.
Absolutely.
And shoot us a question, and we'll get Father Mikey to answer.
By the way, that seriously made a difference.
You're welcome.
You're the best.
I know. That's what I do.
Well, I mean, can you notice the difference?
Yeah, I need a jacket.
Can we negotiate a raise now or what?
No, you're out.
No.
Oh, damn it.
There was something I had to ask, and I lost my train of thought.
He's
but
so
anyway,
cool now. He forgot what.
Well, it's not that cool.
Yeah.
Let's not let's not over exaggerate.
You want your shawl?
No, I'm pretty good. All right. So listen, you have been harping on this silliness.
It's not silliness.
Well, I defer to you then.
Do you know how many people that are by themselves that find comfort in watching television?
A lot.
They have, whether they have physical ailments, they can't get out and about.
Tremendous amount.
It's the best babysitter you could have.
That's not the point.
The point is, I want to go back to my mother and father.
Okay, so you do realize that they're long dead, number one. And then number two, the people that are home.
They're long gone, but they're not forgotten.
Okay, and I understand that, but they're not watching these shows, I don't think, unless there's something you know that I don't.
You don't know what the future has in store.
So you think they're watching it up above?
You know something, if they have wireless connection, why not?
That's a good point.
I mean, hey.
Good point.
Pretty sure everything wireless up there, but.
So, Chrissy, we go back to the year is 1939.
Ooh.
39. When were you born?
45.
So you were born at the end of World War II.
That's why I'm here.
Ended the war.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, 1939, New York is
I remember it like it was yesterday.
New York is having a World Trade Fair. Okay.
The New York, the trade, whatever. The World's Fair.
The World's Fair. And it's kind of interesting because where they held it was Flushing Meadows, which is right now where LaGuardia Airport is.
Wow.
So, I mean, it goes back. But anyway, there was a company, RCA, came out, and they had a 7-inch TV, and they were promoting it at the World's Fair.
I believe that, yeah.
You know? So I thought that was pretty neat. Little 7-inch screen. And everybody was going crazy.
Well, now we have like a 4-inch screen.
Yeah, it's even smaller.
Right.
But, I mean, imagine watching TV.
I know.
Anyway, long story short. The first network that broadcast a show.
Channel 4.
No.
WBZ.
No.
Seriously, I thought it was.
No. It was actually in Pittsburgh.
Really?
Not New York, not Boston.
Pittsburgh.
But the first TV show was televised in Pittsburgh.
Do you know what the show was?
If you give me a second. As a matter of fact, I do not.
Okay.
But we had ABC, and that was the first network that showed shows that were taped. In other words, you brought in
recorded it.
A recorded show. That was the first one. You had ABC, and ABC came on, and they started introducing a show called Bandstand, 1950. Bandstand, just Bandstand. And that gained a lot of momentum. People were enjoying it.
Dick Clark, that was not originally with Dick
original.
Clark.
Then it took about 3 years later till American Bandstand came out.
Interesting.
And that lasted 37 years.
Interesting. I remember watching Bandstand as a kid.
I used to rush home from the John Breen Grammar School. I would rush out of school.
Watch Elvis.
Run across the soccer field, because we had a big baseball field near my house. I'd run into the house, and we had this. It was a piece of furniture. I mean, it was a TV, record player, radio.
Yeah.
But the thing weighed about 5,000 pounds. It was like a freaking car.
And you used to watch it?
Well, I had my Wilcox Gay tape recorder.
Oh, good.
And I had it jacked to the back of the TV, and I did it myself.
Really?
I swear to God.
So you used to tape?
I used to get rid of the commercials, but whenever, say, Lou Rawls came out or the Everly Brothers, I'd push the start button. I'd let it play. When the song was over,
That's
I
very
would shut it
ingenious.
off. But I had reels, reel-to-reel tapes.
Do you still have those?
No, they disintegrated on me.
They'd be worth some money.
They disintegrated. But I got so good at splicing because what happens is those tapes dry out.
Yeah, so you tape them.
You have to cut it on a 45-degree angle.
And then tape.
And then both sides. Tape to both sides, then trim it. You wouldn't even know when it would play. You wouldn't even know. It was just.
Did you watch Elvis much?
Oh, whenever. Absolutely. He was my main man.
You know, I gotta tell you
I tried to sing like him. I used to put on songs like Teddy Bear. I Want to Be Your Teddy Bear.
Don't sing. I'm begging you, don't sing.
First of all, don't threaten me. Number one.
No, I said I'm begging you, don't sing.
I know. But you know what that means?
By the way, you're going to like what I'm going to say now. And I think David knows this. Chrissy doesn't. As you know, after this show, I taped the Great American Collectible Show.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Which is very successful.
No, but one of my guests.
I knew that.
His name is Jeffrey Marin. And Jeff Marin is a sponsor of the show. And you know why he's coming on? Because Jeff Marin is...
He has memorabilia from Elvis.
He is...
Did you tell him I have his lock of hair?
Can I finish?
Do I? How do you like it when I interrupt you?
Okay, then I won't tell you. Number one, yes, I did talk to him about it. Number one.
What do you say?
Number two.
Does he want it?
He is conducting...
I'll give him a deal.
He is conducting the Elvis Presley auction in 2 weeks at Graceland.
No.
Jeff is doing... He's running the whole auction. What's Elvis's ex-wife's name? What's his
Priscilla.
Barbara Priscilla.
Not Barbara.
Whatever.
Priscilla.
Her and her daughter
Lisa
have given him most of Elvis's personal belongings, and the auction is taking place in 2 weeks at Graceland. It's going to be a live auction. I thought you would like to know that because maybe you want to bid on something because you can bid on the internet. I also talked to him about the lock of hair that you bought.
He didn't laugh, did he?
He didn't laugh, but he said unless it's authenticated or there's no provenance, which there wasn't, then it could be Sal de Benedinus's hair.
What did Sal say?
I digress. But I want you to know that about the auction. Pretty interesting?
Yeah. So anyway, we had NBC, we had ABC, we had CBS. But did you know, Tom, in 1946 there was a fourth network?
I did. EKG.
Where did they have that? At Lawrence General? EKG. What? The name of the show was called, the studio was called DuPont.
Sure, they make paint.
And it started in 1946.
What happened? Went out in 47?
No, you know what happened? The three big boys
squelched it.
They went after them.
Oh.
And they squeezed and they squeezed, and then somehow they got in bed with AT&T. The other big network shows could televise 100 hours a week. They cut DuPont down to
nothing.
61. 61.
What was
They
your
couldn't
favorite
survive.
show as a kid?
I have some really good memories because TVs weren't.
I
not
know.
many people had TVs, but my father's aunt, my dad's aunt, they had a little farm, and they were the first ones in our immediate family that had it.
Had a TV.
So I was like 5 years old, and every Friday night after work, we would drive down to North Andover, go to their farm, and my mother would get a dozen eggs, get some fresh produce, tomatoes, or whatever the case might be. And they were the first ones that I knew that had a TV. And I can remember, everybody lived in the basement, the Italian tradition.
Yeah.
They lived downstairs. Upstairs, you only went upstairs to sleep. That was it.
Right.
So I'd go upstairs where the TV was, and I'd sprawl out on the floor.
And what would you watch?
I remember Mama is the first show that is sinking in my head. I remember Mama. It was put out by Maxwell Coffee.
I don't remember that.
It was people from Norway, immigrants that came to this country, and it was wholesome. And I think you remember the show Waltons that became very popular.
Yeah.
That's probably a takeoff
of that.
From
I
remember Mama. It was really good.
Before my time.
And after that, they would have Superman.
Superman, everybody grew up with.
But to me,
George
that was
Reeves, he was great.
Fantastic.
He was great.
Those were the first TV shows that I got into.
You don't remember, did you watch the Friday Night Fights as a kid?
No.
You never did. How about,
I was never into boxing.
What about Gunsmoke?
Oh, yeah.
Paladin, Half Gun Will Travel?
I go back just a little bit earlier.
Before that.
A little bit earlier. I'm 5 years old. I'm living in South Lawrence. I used to go to bed early so I could listen to the Westerns on the radio.
Oh, see, that was way before my time.
Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah.
Gene Autry.
But
the
I
Cisco Kid.
remember watching Hopalong Cassidy on TV.
Yeah, that's where it came from. They took the transition.
Oh, okay.
And they moved the radio shows over to TV. Like Amos and Andy was a very, very, very
I remember
popular
watching
show.
Amos
But
and
on
Andy.
the radio, it was the number one radio show.
How do you think that would go over today?
And there were two white guys.
I know.
And
Yeah.
they got paid $1 million each. Back then, the late 40s, $1 million.
Can you imagine
each.
that? The show
For the
Amos
rights.
and Andy, they were white men dressed in black.
Oof.
And that's what the whole show was.
Yeah.
about.
Somehow I don't think that would go over well.
No.
Anyway, it was set in Harlem. And George, remember George?
Sure.
He was always trying to come up with something.
But
to
one
make
of them, there were
fast
three,
buck.
actually three men.
Yeah.
Andy was black. He was the heavy guy. And he didn't have a big role.
No.
He was like the guy that was like the cool guy. He was the guy that was like the voice of reason. The other two guys were always getting in trouble.
They were always looking for ways to make
a buck.
quick buck.
Exactly.
But anyway, George was the president of the Mystic Knights of the Sea. The Mystic Knights of the Sea. It was a fraternal organization, and he was the kingfish. That phrase, kingfish, that's what they call him on
I
the
didn't
show.
realize that. Kingfish, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
What about the Honeymooners? Great show. Great
Jackie
show.
Gleason, something I admire. I just watched Smokey and the Bandit for the...
Nah, that's
Oh,
that's
that's a
garbage.
classic.
I'm talking TV shows.
I
though.
know, but I'm just saying, Jackie Gleason, it was remarkable.
David, do you guys remember any of those shows? Growing up, I mean, that was way before your time.
They didn't
Chrissy?
have TV in Australia, but I do remember some of the names.
Well, the variety shows.
I didn't know
What's
that.
the oldest show that you remember from growing up?
I watch a lot of older. I love going back and watching the Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, those
okay.
The Colgate Comedy Hour. I watch a lot of that sort
Dick
of stuff.
Van Dyke Show.
That wasn't on television when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of that.
What
sort
did
of
you
stuff,
think
so.
when you saw the movie Crocodile Dundee?
That's a great question.
I thought, oh, what's my dad doing on telly?
No, was it pretty accurate?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought he's
That's how we are.
Paul, I can't remember his
Hogan,
name.
I think?
Paul Hogan. He's very, I loved him.
he was good. I
I thought he was good. That was a good movie.
Good movie.
I watched that and I'm like, Jesus, that's our local people. Like when
We
you
got-
guys watch Deliverance, you're like, oh, that's what our people
Exactly.
are like. You
we,
know?
we have 1
Northern
minute,
New
but I
Hampshire.
just want to say variety shows played an important role back in the day when TV was just Carol Burnett.
Absolutely.
When they cracked
That
each
show's
other up,
hilarious.
Harvey
That show-
Korman.
I
and-
still watch. We have about 50 seconds. I still go on YouTube and watch all the outtakes.
Those are hilarious.
They
Me too.
are laugh
Absolutely.
out loud.
They are.
Absolutely.
Mikey, good to be back.
Take care of yourself.
Folks, remember what I said at the beginning, please. I'm not trying to pontificate, but if you haven't
What
been
are you gonna do?
Pontificate. If you haven't been vaxxed, consider
We'll get
getting
you a dictionary.
consider getting your
I'll
vaxxers.
look it up in my funkin'
and
Wagnall.
boosters for this Omicron and what's coming. With that being said, remember, if you can't make fun of yourself, please don't make fun of anyone. Chrissy, thank you so much for opening up that door. My nipples are no longer hard.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Don't talk like
Wow,
that.
he gets hard in the heat. That's some,
With that
that's
being
some weird
said,
stuff.
if you can't make fun of yourself, please don't make fun of anyone. Have a great week.
Be safe, everybody.
Audio Jungle.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.